Hey, you guys, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in today's video, I'm going to share with you not one, not two, but three traditional rustic DIYs for Christmas 2025. This is a beautiful compilation of rustic DIYs, and if you know me, you know that traditional and rustic are my favorite themes for Christmas. We're going to give you the steps, the tips, and the tricks on how you can create beautiful DIYs for your home this Christmas season 2025. But before we do that, I would like to invite you that if you are not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. Now, if you already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss what's coming up next here on the channel. Also, don't forget to like the video and share with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp. Why? Well, because it is free and it really helps this channel. Are you guys ready to learn how to create beautiful rustic traditional Christmas DIYs for Christmas 2025? Let's get started. All right, everyone. So for this next Christmas DIY on a budget, what I want to share with you is how to create a super cute rustic arrangement for around your home. You can put this on your entryway table, on your coffee table, and your bedroom is going to be super cute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of these sprigs. You guys know that I like to buy greenery just about anywhere. Walmart, Hobby Lobby, high-end stores, Shinoda Design Center. I know David Christopher has some really good ones. And so what I'm doing is I'm cutting some of these clippings, just making as many as I can. And the way you do that is you cut at the joint and you just make them short. Like this one right here is too long for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there in the joint, just make it smaller. And this one right here as well. My wire cutters are getting, I think they have some glue in it. They're getting stuck. They're getting tired. They're like, Ramon, this season has been too long. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start by telling you that this is a beautiful container that I had that actually belongs to my mom. And I put some foam in there. It doesn't really matter how you put it because we're going to cover most of it. So we're gonna start inserting some of this greenery. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. And what I like to do is I just like to add the corners first, like this. And then I put one in the middle like this to kind of define my height. And so now I start inserting all throughout. And it really helps if you spin it around like this because you want to make sure that there is greenery all throughout and as close as you can to the foam so you can start hiding that foam because that's like your goal is to hide that mechanic. So I'm gonna add one right here. And this one, once again, is a little too long for my taste. So I'm gonna cut it in two. And then I'm going to go right here in the middle and also right here. So this is our basic greenery, and as you guys can see, it's all the way around. And by doing what happens on the right happens on the left, you have a very well round arrangement, greenery arrangement. So now what I have is these beautiful, beautiful picks that are going to be the stars of the show. They come with this magnolia that I am obsessed with and this red berry, and look how much of it you get if you just fluff it, you guys. This is from Hobby Lobby, and so what we're going to do is we're gonna open one like this. We're gonna cut a little bit because it's a little too long for my taste, and then we're going to insert as far down, letting that magnolia really spill forward, letting that pine really fill in. Once again, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna open a little bit. Now I'm gonna go opposite direction than that one, like that. And then once you insert on an angle, you pull down to make that magnolia really spill back. So I'm gonna do another one real quick. So you have to fluff every single wire there is, okay? And like this. And by the way, thumbs up for Jameson, you guys. He continues to work behind the camera. Come over here, say hi. He continues to work behind the camera. He's been an expert. Which one is your favorite DIY that we've done so far?
There's so many.
Trees, garlands, wreaths. Which one do you like the best?
Probably the colorful wreath.
The colorful wreath was so much fun, you guys. And actually, Jameson chose that one. Unfortunately, now is sold from our Etsy shop. And thank you to the lady who bought it. Yes, we really appreciate it. Is something you want to say to the public?
We're full swing and we are ready to rock and roll. We're going.
We're going. All right. Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jameson, for all of his help. I'm sorry to interrupt the video, but I want to take a second to invite you to come in, visit my Etsy shop, where it's filling up right now with beautiful holiday wreaths. All of these wreaths are available for purchase. And then also, if you want to learn how to make all these gorgeous wreaths, come and visit my private group on Facebook, Ramon at Home Masterclass. The links both for my Etsy shop and the private group on Facebook are going to be linked down below. I hope to see you there. Let's get back to the video. What I love about this one also, you guys, is the little berry. It adds a punch of color. So I'm gonna add this one right here. And this I'm going to add as close as I can to the rim of the container. And that's gonna help me cover some of that foam as well. All right, so we have the last one. And I just wanna share with you how quick it really is to create a beautiful rustic arrangement for your home this holiday season. This berry I'm going to see if I can take out. No, I can't, so I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't wanna destroy it. All right, so I'm gonna cut a little bit of that stem as well. And I'm going to add as close as I can to the rim of the container. And that's going to be so, look at that. I could stop right there. This is really pretty, but who are we kidding, right? This is Ramon at Home. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these poinsettias from Hobby Lobby, and they have these really cute rusty bells in the middle. I'm obsessed with it. On this one, so I'm gonna cut just a little bit of it, and I'm going to go right here on this corner, and remember to insert at an angle like this and go all the way down to press your poinsettia like that. So now I'm going to go the opposite direction. Remember, what goes on the left happens on the right. What goes up must always come down. That is actually the law of gravity. I thought I invented it myself, but apparently there was a famous gentleman so many years ago that came up with that. All right, so I'm going to insert right here like that. Look how cute that is. So adorable. You would think I would stop right there, but what would a Ramon at Home arrangement would be without a bow? So for that, I'm going to bring this cute burlap ribbon. Believe it or not, you guys, this is from the dollar store. You know, I'm not afraid to mix me some expensive and inexpensive items. So for that, I'm going to grab my burlap with a ho, 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 joy, joy, joy. I'm gonna give myself a cute tail like this. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna move this a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Down, flip, because this one does have a script. Down, flip, another bow, gather, 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 pinch, flip. And at this point, you have to start creating almost like an X, like this. Pull all of your tails. We're gonna do a few more because I wanna use all of this ribbon. I want it to really cover some of that perimeter. I'm gonna go right there. So six loops right here. Then I'm gonna grab a skewer, and you know I'm always telling you, you can find this at your local Hobby Lobby or Walmart on the florist department. This is a florist tool, but they already sell these skewers with a wire, and what you do is just ravel that wire around, and that gives you a pick. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm going to grab all of this like this, and I'm going to find a place where I want it. So I want it on this side right here. And I'm going to insert my pick at an angle like this, all the way down to add a bow. I'm going to cut this tail real quick, like this, a little bit shorter, but I do want it to come down like that, and this one as well. Be sure to put the script forward by twisting it, like this, fluff your cute little bow. So we have a bow on this side, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab me some wire S's. Like I told you before, we make these wire S's by cutting some wire. I'll share with you real quick. So you cut a wire in half, and then you bend down like this, and you create kind of like a bobby pin, and you close it, and you grab your ornament, and you put that bobby pin through the ornament right here. So you have this hook, then you really close it like that. And so what you want to do is you want to grab, this is basically your stem. So you're going to go in here, and then you insert that into the foam like that. And so that's going to hold your ornament right there. And we're going to do another one with this little one right here, but this particular one, I'm going to close right here, and I want it to dangle like that off of the rim of my container. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go at an angle. I'm going to open right here and do a drop. Look for some foam. I lost my ornament. Hang on a second. I pull so hard that, you know, they come off. I have not glued this one. So basically what you want to do is hang on to the You know, the best thing to do would be to just glue it at this point. But you look for that foam and then you insert your ornament like that. And now, look at that. So you have this beautiful arrangement that it was super easy to make and affordable, you guys. So if you too follow the steps on how to create a gorgeous arrangement, you can have this for just a few dollars this holiday season. All right, so now I'm gonna get ready for the next DIY. I know you're gonna love it. Keep watching. All right, so I wanted to give you a quick close-up of this really cute arrangement for your home. It is done on this rustic looking container, and as you guys can see, all the pines and the magnolias and the beautiful check poinsettias with the jute edge and the bow. You guys, look how sweet that bow is. And also the gold ornaments right here. They're just focal points for your home this holiday season. If you follow the instructions on how to create a gorgeous arrangement, you too can have something that is so easy to make, super striking, and so beautiful in your home this holiday season. Wasn't that little centerpiece arrangement super easy, adorable, and absolutely festive for the holiday season? Well, I know that if I can do it, so can you if you follow these super easy steps. But now I'm going to share with you how to create a beautiful rustic wreath DIY. And by the way, you can find some of these wreaths on my Etsy shop. The link to that is going to be in the description box below. Let's check out how this wreath is made. Okay, so step number one in creating a beautiful wreath for your front door is going to be to prep it. And to do that, I'm gonna grab an 18 gauge wire, actually it's a 22, and also my florist tape. And you guys know that I like to cover my wires with this waxy tape that you can find at any local craft store. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. Actually, even Walmart has some of this florist tape. And what you do is you put your tape right here on your finger, you start raveling your wire, you pull back down, because when you pull down is when it becomes tacky. It has this wax that allows it to become tacky. And then the reason of all of this is so when you pull it through, it doesn't hurt your fingers. I have hurt my fingers before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this wire right here, about a quarter of it down. Oh, it went through my ring. That's so funny. All right, so I'm gonna go down, then I'm gonna grab and go up, and I'm going to swirl these two together like this to create a loop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go back down again, and this is where it becomes tricky because you have to create a loop for your door hanger. This is where we are going to be hanging our wreath from. As you guys can see, there's a loop right here, so that's where you hang it from. If this was my door hanger, I just set it right there. But the purpose of the video, I'm gonna make it like this. I do have to put it down because this is going to go on my shop. I want to show you how you make it, and then if you want to visit my shop, you'll be able to. I'll tell you more about that later. But because I want it to be very substantial, if you guys are making this to sell or to give away, you want to do it the proper way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a garland right about here, and you'll see in a second why. And then I'm going to grab some of my black zip ties, and I'm going to go through the grapevine wreath, and I'm going to start attaching this garland on place. And sometimes these things go the other way. You know, they have to go the right way so you can pull on them. So you go like that, really tight, and then I'm gonna grab my wire cutters and I'm going to cut right here. And I'm gonna do about 4 points. You know, when I talk about points, they are the points of attachment. That's where you're going to insert your zip tie and attach into the grapevine, because we're gonna use this to attach other items. Think about having a wreath, a PVC wreath that is just bristles. Well, in this occasion, I want this look right here because it's gonna be a little bit more on the countryside. So I wanted to have that rustic look to it. I don't want to say country, more like rustic. It's going to be a little bit more rustic looking, and I'll explain in a minute why. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my third point right here. And as you guys can see, it's super easy. All you have to do is pull that zip tie back onto the vine and then pull really tight, as tight as you can, because you don't want it to come crashing down on you. And you want it to look kind of like a groove from it. All right, so now we're going to fluff our PVC a little bit like this so it looks intentional. So now what I'm going to do, step number 2 is going to add our mesh. So step number 1, prepping our wreath form for attachment, and now we're going to attach all of our items. And I'm gonna start with this gorgeous material that is like a deco mesh, but look how pretty this is. It looks like burlap. And for that, what I'm going to do, I'm gonna let it drop on the floor. I didn't want to do that, but should I do it on the table? No, I'm gonna let it drop on the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna attach right here like this, and then I'm gonna go back because you don't want to see this right here on the bottom. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna attach the first loop and fold it like this. Then using two of these PVCs, what you're going to do is you're going to attach like that and just fluff this guy right here. And now what we're going to do is we're gonna do loops about, I want to say probably about 5 inches. You don't want them to be too poofy. You don't want it to be too poofy because you don't want all the items that we're going to put on top of this to get lost. So once again, another 5 inches, and look how that is changing the look of our grapevine, but this is going to also be helpful to attach other items. So what I'm going to do is continue going down, doing 5-inch loops. Look how pretty that is. I love how rustic this mesh material is. It is soft to the touch. It doesn't really cling on to anything. Most mesh materials cling on to, even this shirt will be clinging on to it, and sometimes it just will unravel the threads and it's just not a good look. Let me put it that way. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue making this, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so as you guys can see, I put this on the table because I have to go back the other way, so it looks very intentional, and I didn't want to cut the mesh. If you cut the mesh, you have to start over by flipping, and as you guys can see, just by flipping right here, I was able to have a finished look without having to cut this mesh. This mesh is really affordable. Actually, I was shocked to see how affordable it is. If you know, I'm for the first time I'm doing these wreaths for sale. You guys can visit my Etsy shop. I'm gonna leave a link down below so you can see all the wreaths that I have there. But I have known a lot of people, actually I have top people who make this for sale. And when you sell your wreaths, you want to make sure that they are perfectly finished and then they're not gonna come crashing down on your customers, even if you make them to give away. And so I always tell people, you know, it takes a little bit longer to do it the right way, but it's going to last a long time versus us just trying to make it really quick because we want to be quick. So that's not how it works. So you have to be very intentional, especially if you are making them for your shop like I am this time. All right, so I have come to the end. So now I'm going to cut right here and I'm going to show you another trick real quick. So because I couldn't fold right here, so what we're going to do is we're gonna fold this in half. All right, so far we've prepped our wreath form. We added the garland and also this beautiful mesh material that covers some of that greenery. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make our gorgeous bow. And for that, I'm going to need our wire to be covered one more time. And you know, you can do this all at once at first if you want to. I like to make it as I go because it kind of keeps me on kind of like a schedule of the things that I'm doing. But as I mentioned to you before, creating a first impression always starts at the door, you guys. So whether it is for Christmas or whether it is for fall or spring or summer, a beautiful wreath or swag on your front door can make a difference. I love driving by people's homes and seeing the wreaths on the door because to me it really means like they are ready to greet somebody at the door. So that's why I love to teach how to make beautiful wreaths and swags here on my YouTube channel. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to make a beautiful bow, and I've selected this pretty burlap ribbon that I'm going to drop on the floor. And I like to start with, actually, you know what, I'm lying to you. I'm going to start with I'm going to put that one right here. I'm going to start with the smallest ribbon, which is going to be this one right here. And always start by dovetailing your ribbon because it is more convenient if you just do that than having to go back to dovetail. So I'm going to give it probably about 5 inches, and then you're going to pinch. I want to do about 6-inch loops, so I'm going to pinch right here one more time, and then I'm going to twist. This one I won't have to twist because it's printed on both sides, but I always just get on the habit of doing it, so that way when you have a ribbon that you have to twist, you don't forget, because if you don't do the twisting, then you don't get the beautiful printed side on the top. All right, so as you guys can see, I have 2. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna actually do, I'm gonna do 4 of each, like that. And then I'm gonna twist, I'm gonna bring it back up, and I'm gonna cut this one right here. I'm gonna give it a tail like that. So now I'm gonna introduce my burlap, and I'm gonna start with a tail as well. And you put it right under the other one, and then you start pinching like that. and I'm going to go under and right about the same, maybe a little bit longer, but just a little bit, so there can be a variation. So then I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm going to pinch like that, and then I'm going to twist. And now what you need to do when you twist is you go to the other side, so that way you create the bow. You have to start creating the bow, so that way when you go to attach and fluff, you don't have to really wrestle. You could still do it, but you're really gonna have to wrestle your ribbon. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here. My boss used to say, stop while you're ahead. And I have quite a lot of ribbon that I'm going to be using to make some other tails. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put it to the side. And now I'm going to attach this with a zip tie, because if you attach it with a zip tie, it really stays together versus with a wire, it can come undone. And so what we're going to do is we're gonna drive a zip tie like this, and just pull really, really tight until you can pull no longer, no further. And so now what you need to do is you need to start fluffing this bow like this, like this. Make sure that you're really pulling them so it looks intentional. And before I attach it, what I'm going to do is dovetail all these ends, make sure they look pretty and finished. This is a smaller size bow because we're going to attach some tails in a minute that I'm going to show you. There's going to be a lot of bows, but to begin with, we want to start with just a smaller bow to kind of have a focal point. So now that we have our pretty bow like this, I'm going to grab that wire that I taped, and I'm going to go back and make sure that I have about the same on both sides, and I'm going to give it a really tight spin to it. And now I'm going to attach my bow right about here. I want it to be not in the middle, not on the top. So probably about, what time you say this is, Jameson? About 10 o'clock, maybe? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. So you put it right about 10 o'clock. Thumbs up for Jameson, who's been my cameraman today. Yay! I told him I needed help because sometimes when I'm trying to shoot multiple videos in a day, like I am today, you guys, because Christmas season is here, we have to be fast. So thumbs up for Jameson. All right, so now that you have spin all of this like this, once again, what you need to do is put that right here, and with your scissors, you want to get rid of the excess of that wire, and just push it right there into your form, and you will never see it. That way, in case you had to unattach your bow, you have that wire. If you were to cut it, you'd have to start over with a bow. All right, so now I'm gonna split these two right here. As you guys can see, it's a sweet little bow, but there's going to be more. Don't worry about it, there's gonna be more. I just wanted to have a focal point right here. I'm gonna put that up a little bit. I need to have a focal point to where things are going to radiate from, and then later on, we're gonna go back and attach more bows. You guys will see how beautiful this will look at the end. All right, you guys, so I have three different types of greenery. I have this really long one that I'm gonna be cutting down. I have this gorgeous one with all of these mixed beautiful pines and greeneries and stems that I'm gonna take apart, and then I have one that I already pre-cut because I wanna show you the whole step. So I'm gonna put this right here. And then I also brought out my beautiful pick machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with this one right here, and I'm just gonna cut them off of the stem. These usually have a cut where you're supposed to cut, and so I just go with that because I'm gonna pick it anyway, so might as well just follow the pattern on this stem right here. And when you have a long stem like this, you wanna save these ones because we might have another project later on. All right, so then what you do is these long one, even the long ones right here, have a cut where they would like you to cut to make multiple look instead of having just one long one. And I'm gonna look for the other long one right here. I'm gonna show you again. It has this cut right under. It's like a joint, and then you cut it, and now you have 4 instead of 2. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's good to know how many you have. That way you know how many you have to insert. So we're gonna start with the top, and I'm going to pick my, I'm gonna move my cup right there. Pick my stem. As you guys can see, it gives you that steel pick, and I'm gonna get my hot glue gun closer to me so that I can work. And so what I like to do is just put a lot of glue and let it run down, and I'm gonna start right here on the top. I'm gonna lift my bow and I'm gonna drive through. Just make sure the dust go on the form so it doesn't detach from it, and it's gonna last a long time. A lot of people have asked me, Ramon, do you like hot glue gun or hot glue pellets? I'm gonna be honest with you, I like them both. But for wreaths, because they are for sale, you wanna use a hot glue gun because it dries clear. If you're trying to bond to something that is not visible, then of course the hot glue pen is best for you. But as for me, for this particular project, I like the gun because it doesn't show if it dries, to where the hot glue pen, it just dries yellow. And especially I've seen people work where they put it on white, like on flux, and it just looks awful. Awful. So what you need to do, remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. So I added 2 right here, and then I went ahead and added 2 right here. I'm gonna add 1 coming down because we're gonna put some tails into these wreaths. I'm into this type of wreath right now, you guys. If you go to my shop, you'll see a lot of the wreaths that have a bow and then tails going down. It almost looks like a swag, and I just think they're so beautiful. They're so simple and elegant at the same time. And see how they're coming from the same. And now I'm gonna put the last one over here, and I'm gonna save 2 because you guys know that I like to save 2 for the end. All right, we're gonna add 1 last one right here, going with the motion. So now time to explain something real quick. You have your bow right here. This is your core. That's what everything needs to radiate from. If you go down, you have to go all in one direction. If you go up, you have to go all in one direction. And I'll explain more about that as we go, but that's the way that it's going to radiate, okay? All right, so now we're gonna go back to our bows. I'm gonna get my ribbons back into the picture, and I'll be right back. We'll add the rest of this in 1 second. Okay, 2 things. Remember I told you we're gonna continue with the bow, and so now is the time to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my wooden stakes with a wire. These you can find at any local craft store. I'm gonna get 2 because I'm most likely gonna need 2. So I'm gonna grab 2 of those, and you can find them at Hobby Lobby, or I think even Walmart. It's a floral supply, or your florist. You can always go to your local florist. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this guy right here, and then I'm gonna grab my other check ribbon, and yes, the shirt was intentional, and I'm gonna layer them like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna measure probably about 18 inches, probably 20 inches, and then I'm going to cut just because it'll be easier to manipulate than if we had, you know what, no, I'm gonna do it the hard way. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put it flat like this, then I'm gonna grab one of my stakes, put it on my hand, and I'm going to pinch right here. I'm going to introduce this stake right here, and then I'm going to swirl this really tight into my stake. That's what these are for, all right? So now I'm going to add a little bit of glue right here where the wire is, so it kind of glues in together. And what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab some glue and just smear it on my stake, and I'm going to go right here without trying to not to burn myself, which I have in the past. I'm going to introduce that stake going up into the form. So now I have my tails like this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a big loop, and then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to pinch, and with those bristles, that's why I put that garland in there, you guys. So that way you can manipulate. Grabbing my garland, I'm going to twist like this, and that's going to stay right there. And I'm going to cut right here. So I'm going to cut 1 tail, 2 tails, and I'm going to, of course, dovetail so it looks finished. Look how cute this is. Look at that. And because this is a thinner ribbon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again. So now once again, I'm gonna grab my burlap ribbon, and then I'm going to grab my ribbon, my plat ribbon, grab my stake with a wire. I saw the stake with a wire and I said wire. Isn't that funny how the brain works? You swirl this around really tight. You grab your hot glue gun and put a little bit just there on the joint to glue it all together, and then you want to add, I'm gonna get my little dish closer. Smear it all over the place. Now we're gonna lift right here, and we're gonna go about the same point, and we're going to go up into the form like that. Ow, ow, ow. All right. And you want to pinch right here once again. And now I'm going to go right here. And then I'm going to twist like this. Look how cool that is. See, I told you that the bow would continue. And so now for this one, I'm gonna cut it maybe a little bit shorter than the other ones. And we'll dovetail in a second, but I decided that I'm also going to do one going on the top because what goes up must come down. Remember, whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top, and whatever you do on the left, you do on the right. If you want your wreath or arrangement or Christmas tree or swag or whatever it is that you're doing to be balanced, right? So once again, you sort all of this. We add just a little bit of glue. Now, these are the things that I learned, you guys, working as a florist for over 15 years. Yes, I worked as a florist for 15 years, and now I get to show you and teach you all the tricks of the trade. All right, so we're gonna push that into the form. So now I have my ribbons, and I'm going to pinch right here. This is the hard one because you have to do it upside down. Let me see. And then I'm going to grab my bristles at the very end, and I'm going to attach all of this together like that. And then I'm gonna cut some tails on this side. I'm gonna cut like that, we'll take care of that. So now first I'm gonna dovetail these guys a little shorter. You want them to stagger up, so like that. And then I'm gonna dovetail this one. Look how cute that is. Of course, we're not even done yet, but. All right, so now we're gonna do this one. We're gonna do them both at the same time. Right, the wrong way. Like that. We'll be back to fluff at the end, but look how cute this is, you guys. All right, so now it looks like the bow has continued, and then we're gonna add some tails at the end, but we'll get to that in a second. So now I'm gonna get the rest of my florals and my greenery ready, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Okay, so now that we've established our focal point or radiating point, what we're going to do is we're going to add these beautiful picks. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a florist knife, and these are taped down. What you wanna do is you wanna go ahead and just do that to that tape. And when you cut down, just cut against it. Don't never do it towards you. So that way you can get rid of all of that tape that is holding all of this beautiful product together. These are premium picks, you guys. I wish you could see them in person. They look so real. They are like molded to a real pine. Oops, a tag, we don't want that. And you just have to like pull them apart like this, and look, they just kind of pull apart, and you can then distribute all of this beautiful product into your wreath. So now we have all those pretty things. But I'm gonna start with this beautiful pine with a red berry to kind of continue with the color of our theme, which is a little bit more rustic. And also the pine is very rustic to me. It reminds me of when I lived in Kansas, all of that pine there. All right, so now I'm gonna do is put a pick on it, add some glue, and then I'm gonna start right here on the bottom, just opening my ribbons. What I'm going to do is add some of that pine. Remember, what goes up must come down, and you have to know how many you have, so that way you distribute throughout your wreath evenly. So I started on the bottom, now I'm gonna go on the top, adding some glue. Ooh, I'm having so much fun with this hot glue gun. Isn't that funny? I'm gonna go right here, like that. And then I'm gonna grab one more. Remember, I have 5, so I have to know that one on the top, one on the bottom, and then we're gonna go back to a radiating point and insert some from there. If you guys don't have a pick machine, let me tell you, get one. If you are doing this for a business, it really does help to create beautiful, beautiful product, and you don't have to struggle a lot, which if you try to make my job easier, I'm all for that. And when I worked in the flower industry, this was one of the first tricks that I learned. It helps with your mechanics, and then you don't have to struggle into poking into the grapevine. All right, so I have one here. I'm gonna go and add one right over here. And because it has that steel, then it really does help to poke in. See how it's all radiating? So I have one, I actually have 2 left, so yay. Yay for me. And for whoever gets this one. You guys, I'm having so much fun putting all of these wreaths on Etsy, and thank you so much to everybody that has bought one. I am so excited to know that there's people out there in Illinois with a Ramon at home wreath. It just means so much to me that you guys are actually supporting my little adventure. And the reason why I did it is because you guys can continue to ask, do you sell that? Do you sell that? Well, now I do. So go visit the shop. Like I said, that link is going to be down below. And there's so many pretty ones right now. All right, so I'm going to now add one right here to finish. I'm going to put some glue in here, and I'm going to go right about here. Just make sure you push that really good. And look how good that looks. Now, the reason why this works is because this is a rustic look, right? So you have to be a little bit more on the pine side. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my beautiful poinsettias with the jingle bells. And I'm going to fluff them a little bit so they're a little bigger. I'm only going to add 2. Even the poinsettia, I'm going to cut and add a pick to it. Because like I said, the pick makes it so much easier, it won't bend. If you try to put the stem of the poinsettia just in the form, it'll bend and it'll be so hard for you guys to do that. So what I'm going to do is just add some glue to my pick. I'm gonna grab my poinsettia from the middle of it. I'm gonna go right here, and I'm going to add her right in here. Like that. And then we fluff like this. And so I'm gonna add the other one right here. And I'll tell you, I have 3, but I'll tell you why I only want to use 2 in just 1 second. You don't wanna take away from that bow, number 1. And number 2, we're still going to use the 3rd one, but we're going to use it in a very different way. So I'm gonna add this guy right here. And see how that kind of becomes part of the bow? You can fluff like that. We have our bow. We have our poinsettias, and now what I'm going to do with this particular one, I'm going to grab my knife once again, and I want to take it apart. So I'm going to make sure that I don't cut myself. First of all, be careful when you do stuff like this. But this, you know, we used to use these flowers for corsage work, and so that's where I learned how to do these things, where we used to be creative and just take things apart. And so then what you can do is pull these guys like this. So we're gonna just take the whole, the first one is the hard one, but look, once you start taking it apart, then you can literally just pull that wire and they came right out. I think maybe 1 more, 2 more, that'll be it. All right. So what you wanna do with these guys right here is bend the wire down. You're gonna put a little pick on it. And we're gonna individually insert these guys into our wreath. So I'm gonna put some up here. Let's see. Like that, see, it's gonna now extend the shape of our wreath or our poinsettias, but you have to make sure that you put a pick because we want to have something that goes into the form and attaches to the rest of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one right here. Look at that. And so I'm gonna do, this is so much fun. I'm having a blast coming up with these ideas for you guys. And I really hope, I cannot wait to read your comments. So let me know, have you guys ever replicated any of the looks here on the channel? What I like to do sometimes is like add 2, but just make sure you stagger them like that. Let me see, I'm gonna add some under the bow. I always like to add something on the bow, so that way it looks more full. And look how fast it is. This is not taking me more than like, however this video lasts is how much or how long I took to make this wreath, you guys. So if I can do it, let me tell you, so can you. All right, let's see. I'm gonna add, should I add the jingle bells? Maybe in the middle of the bow. I decided that's what I want them, in the middle of the bow. So we're gonna split it and put those jingle bells, but we'll do it at the end. Don't let me forget, Jamison. Be like, hey, the jingle bells.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna add another one right here by the bow. Look at that, it's just creating that. It's adding all of the plaid and all of the rustiness that this wreath needs. And I'm gonna leave a few at the end so that way we can continue to add, which to me is, you know, this one I didn't get the pick, so I'm gonna put it on the side and do another one while that dries. If it didn't get the pick and you put glue on it, you guys, just put it on the side because you do not wanna put that on your pick machine because your pick machine will get glue all over it and then it's a mess. Let me just say that. All right, so add some glue to that. And I'm going to add one probably right here, like that. All right, so now I'm going to add some of this beautiful greenery, which is what's gonna really give it that rustic look, because it's all this rusty color greenery. It has that variegation to it, and it's just going to look so beautiful. And with this, what I'm going to do is, just keep in mind, what goes up must come down. So be sure to add all of those in a manner where you go one up, one down, one up, one down. And we have 2 of each because I had 2 picks. So keep in mind, if you put one up, make sure you put one down. So right now I'm gonna add the cedar, the flat cedar, and the berry up here on the top. I'm gonna go with this guy right here, all the way our cap. And look at that, oh, it's so pretty. So now I'm gonna look for the older berry. I think this is a juniper. It is so beautiful. It's so realistic. I'm gonna grab this juniper, and as you guys can see, that's why when you buy from anyone that sells handmade, is because every single piece is put by hand. And so unlike other places where you might go and buy it already made, which a machine made it, when you buy from a seller, then you're making sure that every single piece is touched by the hand, is put through the pick machine, is put through the glue. And so it's just one of a kind, because even if I was to make 2 of the same, it won't turn out the same, just because we won't place on the same spot. Look how pretty that is. Oh, it's so gorgeous. All right, so let me see. Now I'm gonna add this beautiful one right here. And I want it right under the bow to kind of give me some dimension. Okay, so before we finish this wreath, I want to explain that I left 2 of this right here, and I went ahead and picked them together. Then also I'm going to add some of these berries that is just going to throw it over the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the last 2 of my plaid poinsettia foliages, and I'm going to go ahead and go all the way here to extend the shape of that plaid. And look at that, just like that. And so I'm going to do one in the bottom as well. Oh, I already picked it. And I'm gonna add the glue to the pick like this, and I'm going to add right about here, inserting into my form. Ow, I just burned myself. Then you separate those like that. And so now you have all that going all the way down. Now these berries right here are also just taped together. So what we wanna do is, let me see if I can just pull them apart. Sometimes they're so easy to pull apart. If you just pull like that, oh yeah, look at that. How easy is that? So we're gonna pull apart 2, 3, so now we're gonna have 6 of them that we're gonna be able to add to our tree. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna cut a little bit of that. I want them to be a little bit shorter. And remember, everything radiates from our bow, so we're gonna start from our bow going down and up. So I'm gonna grab one like this, and I'm gonna add some glue, and once again, right there at the bow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up everything I have, and I'm just going to add that cute little berry. And make sure that goes on the form for sure. There you go. So there's one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one side first, but I'm always going to remember that what goes up must come down. And since I already know that I only have 6, then I need to make sure that I put 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And then also stagger them like this. And then I'm gonna do, of course, one over here. We're gonna.
These are the jingle bells, right?
These are not the jingle bells.
Okay.
These are just the berries. We'll put the jingle bells in, but we're gonna make sure that that's gonna be our last little touch. So I'm gonna lift up all of this. I'm gonna add this one right here. And look how that just changed the look. It gave it that little glitter with the snow. Make sure you cut a little short. And also 2 things. Make sure that it comes from the bow, stagger it as a ladder motion, and then go up and down. So now we're gonna lift up our bow right here, and we're going to add this guy right here. Make sure that it goes into the form like that, and just adds a little bit of berry. And so now I have 2 left. All right, you guys, so the last thing is I'm gonna add those jingle bells so you don't think that I forgot them. And so I'm gonna open my bow, and I'm just gonna go ahead and insert that right there, right in the middle. So it comes out of our bow, fluff the little bows. What I wanna do is I'm also going to adjust my tail. So I feel like these are too long. I'm gonna cut them a little short. I don't want them to compete with the rest of it. Also this one right here, like that. This one I'm gonna cut a little short so I can open my poinsettia. At this point, you just can basically rearrange everything, fluff everything, like my poinsettia right here. And just like that, we have a beautiful rustic wreath that I'm gonna put on the door and show you what it looks like. As you guys can see, this is a more rustic design that I came up with a lot of these beautiful buffalo check plaid ribbons and poinsettias with the jingle bells as the center. It has some mixture of pine and cedar and some beautiful berries with a frosted glitter, and they are absolutely gorgeous. This is such a rustic look. If you are more into the country, farmhouse, or just rustic, this is perfect for you, and I really hope that you like it as much as I did. Now, if you know me, you know that I love a wreath, and like I mentioned before, so many of these wreaths are going to be in my Etsy shop, and you can find the link to that in the description box below. Also, I want to take a second to invite you to come and join us on my private group, Ramon at Home Masterclass on Facebook, where I teach you all about wreaths, swags, and all things door decor. If you want to join this beautiful group, this community that we're building, there's going to be a link pinned to the top on my Facebook page. You can come follow those instructions, and I'd love to see you there. But now, continuing with a rustic traditional theme, I'm going to share with you how to decorate a beautiful rustic Christmas tree in a traditional theme. Let's take a look. All right, you guys, so we're gonna start this beautiful, more of a traditional Christmas tree with these gorgeous oversized ornaments. I love an oversized ornament, but what I like to do is push them in as far as I can to fill in some of those gaps on our tree and to just have them reflect the light. I love this one. Look how gorgeous it is. So I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna move on to this side. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. And like I said, just push it all the way in and grab that wire that already comes with it and swirl it around. So now we're gonna move over to this side. I'm gonna put one right here. So right about here, I'm going to push it as far in as I can to make sure that we only kind of peekaboo this ornament. So that's 3 of them. I have a 4th one, but I think that if I put it out here, it's just gonna stick out too much. So I'm gonna move on more to this one right here. Now, I do want to explain real quick that we are a Chanel Design Center, you guys, and we wanted to respect the fact that it's a retail store. What we do is we come here and we help them set up their displays, and in doing that we get to shoot all of these videos. But that's why you'll see some of the tags and some of the products, because well, they have to sell them, you know, and so we are going to try and hide them as much as we can, but just keep that in mind that we are doing that to honor the request that we leave some of these tags off, because they have to know at the end of the day what it is that they're trying to sell, right? And so I already told you one of the videos, I don't know if you've seen that video now, but this will be our last year working here at Chanel Design Center. Why? Well, because we are moving. We're moving out of the beautiful state of California because we're starting our own business, you guys. So we're going to be serving you, but more on that later. How about that? All right, so I'm gonna continue adding this green ornament. And just so you know, we went from the shiny to the matte. This is more of a natural look, so I'm gonna try and keep it as matte as possible, but I did want it that shiny to reflect the light. So I'm going to add another one over here. Remember to try and push them in as far as you can, so that way you only peekaboo some of these ornaments. So now we're done with the green. Let me see, I'm gonna pull away from it for a second to see where else do I need another ornament. And you know what, I'm gonna put it right here, right in the middle. You might not be able to see that right now, but when I give you the close-up, it all makes sense. So now we're moving on to another ornament, which is going to be this red one. We're gonna start with this, almost like a candy apple. We're gonna start right here on the top, and I'm going to grab right here. We're trying to add as much character to this, because when it is a natural look, you wanna add some character. It is the holidays after all, so we want to make sure that it looks fun and festive. So we're gonna move on to this side right here. You guys, give it up for Jameson. He did all this wiring. Jameson, come say hi. Our cameraman and our wire attacher.
Official wire attacher hanger.
You guys, what is your official title?
Oh, geez. What did we come up with?
You're from like the person who sweeps and mops.
Yeah, the official sweeper, mopper, wire.
Wire ornament hanger. Thank you. Give it up for Jameson, you guys. He is been working so hard to make all of these videos possible behind the camera. And funny story, when we're here at Shinoda Design Center, this customer from Shinoda recognized us and they told Jameson, "Hi, cameraman." We thought it was hilarious, didn't we, Jameson? All right, so I'm gonna add one more right here to the bottom. I'm done with that particular one, so we're gonna move on to, once again, this larger red. So we're going to swirl right here our wire, and I'm going to start to cluster this, and look how far I'm pushing them in and just twisting that wire. And I'm going to continue doing this. So I'm going to move to this side just to make sure that there's this red ornament all throughout our tree. Okay, so the next step is going to be our stems, and I do want to clarify that we do have a four-step process, which is ribbons first, ornaments second, stems, florals, and picks third, and then accent ribbons will be our fourth step. But we're breaking the rules a little bit because it's going to be a little bit different. I wanted to do something different and add the ribbon at the end, so you guys can see how by adding ornaments first and then stems and then the ribbon at the end will make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here, and I have this beautiful holly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fluffing and I'm going to start pushing in to give us more of a three-dimensional look. So we have to remember what happens on the right happens on the left. What goes up must come down. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go from left to right. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, means that we have to move as we go. So one to the left, one to the right. I'm going to add one right here. And like I said, this is going to give us a three-dimensional look on our tree, and it's gonna start giving us a lot of texture as well. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to put one right here in the middle, but for this particular one I'm gonna take the tag off, just a few of them. The ones that are like dead center, then I do want that tag to be removed, so it's not like looking at people in the face when they are looking at the tree. Okay, I'm gonna go over to this side and insert one right here. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna put it right here. Then I'm gonna go over to the other side. And at this point, you really don't have to balance it out because we have a lot of stems that we have to add. This is all about the texture. So I have this really beautiful real touch. And so I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna add one right about here. And I'm going to grab them all in my hand and I'm going to move fast. So I'm gonna go over to this side. I'm gonna add one right here. And see how that's changing the look of this tree, you guys. It is all about the textures. And like I said, you don't have to at this point really worry about the balance. Now I'm gonna touch this one real quick because we're adding so many of them that by the time we're done adding all of them, it'll look so much natural than if we're trying to balance it all with just one particular stem. Look how that just changed the look of this tree, right? So I'm going to add another one right here by this big ornament. And it's giving us all of that depth and dimension. So now I'm gonna grab some of this beautiful cedar. I love it. This is like a real touch. It's super affordable and it does add a lot of texture to our tree. So I'm gonna start right here on the top and I'm going to start moving, going down one more time. Look at that, how pretty. This one I do have a lot. This is the one that is going to really change the look of this tree. This is the perfect way if you have an older tree and if you wanna spruce it up. Picks will be your best friend. All right, so I'm gonna add one right here. And I'm going to move over to the other side to add yet another texture over to this side. And look at the mixture of all of these pines and cedars and other foliages just add so much more. The holly, we're gonna add one right here. And I'm going to add one more from the back to make it look more full right here. And I'm going to add maybe one here on the bottom. I'm gonna disappear for a second, you guys, but no problem. All right, so we have this stem of berry. I absolutely love it and it's super long, so I folded a little bit of it. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a curvature down and I'm gonna start right about here. I'm gonna add this one. I'm going to swirl one of those stems on it and look at this, you guys. We're going to do a few of them. So once again, just fold some of it because it is a little long. Go ahead and fluff a little bit like this. So all of those berries are exposed, and then when you do that, go ahead and give it a little bit of curvature. So we're gonna move over to this side right here, and we're going to grab one of those bristles once again and just swirl it around so we attach to it. How absolutely fun is this berry? It is full, it is large, and in charge, honey, yes. We're gonna add this one right about here. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. So pretty. This particular one, I'm going to pull because I want some on the top as well. So I'm going to add right around here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna add one right here. And then I'm going to add his friend right here. And that's the beauty about this. Look, you guys, how easy that is. Love it. So I'm gonna go over to this side and start adding some. I'm gonna add one right here, like this. And once again, just pull. And we're going to go over to this side, maybe right here. And the last few, I'm going to pull like that. And I'm going to go to the bottom of it. So I'm gonna go over here to this side and then over to this side by the big ornament, like that. So that's all of our berries. So now we have a few poinsettias that I want to add, because what would Christmas be without poinsettias, right? I love poinsettias. They're this natural red and it has a little bit of gold. We're gonna fluff them up, get those foliages out, give that head a little bit of a curvature, and we're gonna start right here on the top. So I'm gonna go down all the way down with this poinsettia like this. Like I told you, it was going to be super natural, super quick. This is about probably 12 minutes. How many minutes, Jameson, can you tell me? Oh, you can, because we've cut, but this is just, I wanted to show you how fast it can be to decorate a beautiful Christmas tree. So I'm going to add this one right here. Now I do have a few more that I dropped over here, so I'm going to grab them. I'm going to grab another one of these beautiful poinsettias and give them a fluff. Get these foliages a little bit of a bend. Aren't these gorgeous, you guys? Look at this. How pretty are these poinsettias? Oh, I love it. Then I'm going to bend, and I'm going to bend a little bit, and I'm going to introduce right about here. And it's all about the layers. It's all about those layers coming down your Christmas tree. One more time, we're gonna fluff. Thumbs up if you are enjoying this video, you guys. I'm having so much fun sharing all of these Christmas ideas with you, all of these themes that we've been doing. We've done so many and we have so many more to come, and I just really hope that you are enjoying this Christmas season as much as we are putting it together for you. So I'm gonna go over to this side, and I put one right here, so I'm gonna go down maybe right here. We're gonna add by the berries. So now I'm gonna get my ribbon. Remember, ribbon is usually the first step. Now it's going to be our last step. So let me get that ready and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so for our ribbon, I selected this beautiful burlap with a little bit of gold, and then also this plaid. Oh my gosh, it is so pretty. So I'm going to layer them, and I'm going to cut them at an angle like this. So once again, we're going to layer them. I'm gonna bring those tails forward to me, and this burlap is going to really hold the weight of the other one. We're going to fold like this, then we're going to twist them together so they can be forward. I'm gonna grab a few wires. When you have more than one ribbon layered, it is more convenient to grab a few wires than one. It gives you more of a grip. So it's gonna be like this. And so I'm gonna start right here on the top. I'm gonna go over to this side. I'm gonna let those tails hang. I'm gonna grab my bristle right here, and I'm gonna start right here on the top. And I'm going to go ahead and do a big old swoop, but I have to make sure that this plot ribbon, big old swoop, I'm gonna pinch right here. Then I'm going to go like this. I'm gonna grab this bristle and bend it like that. We're gonna make sure that we have that. Now I'm gonna move over to this side, so another big old swoop, pinch right here, and then we're going to come in right here, like so. And at this point, I'm gonna grab my scissors over here, and I'm going to give him a cut at a slant, like so. I'm gonna just let those hang out. So now I'm going to do it one more time. So I'm gonna grab both of my ribbons. Remember, put them upside down, give that tail, bring the burlap down and bring it up like so. to create that loop. Pinch and gather and twist. And we're going to grab a few wires, wire this together, circle it around. So now I'm gonna move over here. A little ribbon. We're not gonna do a whole bunch of ribbon on this tree. So I'm gonna look for a bristle right here that I can attach to. Once we attach really heavily, we're gonna fluff, and remember to make big old swoops. Big, large and in charge. We're going to go right here and grab a bristle and twist this. And now we're going to go over to this side, make a big old swoop, and we're going to grab right here another bristle, and then we're going to cut at a slant with our scissors. Like I said, this is going to be more of an accent, and that's why we waited towards the end, so that way we can just add a little bit of ribbon, not a lot. As you guys can see, I'm going to do another one over here. So once again, tails down. Bring the burlap up, pinch, gather, twist. Grab your ribbon, and we're going to go like this, and then we're going to do one right here. You can do 2 loops or swoops, or you can do one, no matter. So we're going to go, this one we're going to just do one because we're almost close to the bottom. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go in right here, find a twisted tie or a bristle, and then we're going to grab our scissors and we're going to cut at a slant like that and separate them a little bit. Just let them hang. Don't even bother about them. So I'm gonna go over to this side and fill in this other side. Once again, bring the tails to you. That's really important. And then you're gonna give yourself a tail. You're gonna put the burlap under, and at this point they're getting twisted. And we're gonna bring it up, pinch and twist, give it a turn, grab your wires, wire together, and we're going to go over to this side. So I'm gonna start right here. And remember to layer it. We have to layer the swoops. I lost a berry, but no problem. I'm gonna touch it even better by putting one of these bristles through it. So basically you pull a bristle right here, there we go. Now she ain't going nowhere. And so we're going to big old swoop right here, almost towards the back, through my greenery. I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, there's a lot of ribbon on this bolt. I'm trying to finish the ribbon, I can't, it's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna go through here, attach, and then we're going to cut. You guys, this burlap ribbon, I really want you to look at it. It has a gold edge to it and a gold flake inside of it. It sparkles, so there's a little bit of gold in the tree, in the ribbon, and it just looks so festive, so beautiful. We want to adjust all of those tails to make sure they're all going the same way. And see how natural this look and beautiful. I am going to finish putting some of this ribbon and I'll be right back with you. I think we're almost finished. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so we finished the ribbon, and I absolutely love the way this looks. It's very natural. There's not very much fuss about it, but what's going to add the fuss is going to be this gorgeous pick that I saved for the end. This has some berries, but it has some frost in it. And so this is going to add a little bit of sparkle to our Christmas tree without having to add any glitter or any of that. So we're just going to add a few of these picks. And I love them because it has a whole bunch of greeneries. They're all frosted. And like I said, it's more of a frost versus a glitter, even though it is a glitter. But it's just going to make it sparkle a little bit more, and that white is going to give it a little bit more of contrast to our greenery. As you guys can see, I'm sticking them in a little bit, so just want a little bit of that white to pop through. And like I was telling you, these picks are fabulous because it has some types of greeneries and foliages and berries, and the frosting is just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to add one right here. I'm going to go down a little bit over on this side. So I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to grab a bristle and push through to attach. And then I'm going to put one on the very top to fill in that void that I'm looking at. It's all about filling in the voids on your Christmas trees. So I'm going to put it right about here, like that, and put a peek through it. See how that white just separated all of that red and green that we added? And I just love the fact that it has a berry because it's tying in with all of the other berries and reds in our Christmas tree. All right, you guys, so this is the last of it, and I think I'm going to add it right about here, and I'm gonna put one of these bristles through to hold it, and we're gonna give it a fluff and clean and give you a close-up, so keep watching. All right, you guys, so here is the end result on this beautiful Christmas tree. And the one thing I want to share with you real quick is the burlap ribbon. Look how pretty this is with the gold metallic edge and the little flake. I just love it. I love the way this turned out with the plaid. It is more natural with the green and the red. And like I said, these beautiful ribbons layer like that as our last step, it just added so much more. This is a good way to use a tree that you may already have that you want to spruce up on a traditional theme. What do you guys think? All right, you guys, well, that's all I have for today. I really hope that you enjoy all of these rustic traditional Christmas DIYs. I cannot wait to come back with even more. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and also don't forget to share this video with your friends and family members so they too can come and join Ramon at home. Now, if this inspires you, remember that I'm going to put a playlist right here with even more Christmas DIYs, wreaths, swags, Christmas trees, centerpieces, garlands, everything that you need to know and learn in order to have the most beautiful home this holiday season. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and until next time, you can watch more videos right now. Bye.